Greetings aspirants. Welcome to another video of CivicCentre concepts. So in this video, we are going to discuss the concept of remote sensing satellites. First of all, what do you mean by remote sensing? Remote is nothing but which are inaccessible, which are very difficult to access. And sensing is nothing but to know the information. So in this context, we are going to see a small image what we got from a remote sensing satellite. So these are the images which we got through a remote sensing satellite. Through this image, you can say that various types of information can be brought through the remote sensing or can be known through the remote sensing satellite. Now, if we talk about the basic principle on which this works, like we can say that remote sensing is a technique for observing and accessing the reflected and radiated energy from an object. That is how you are going to get the information of that object which is in the remote areas. So remote sensing is nothing but knowing information about some remote areas, right? So basically we are going to get two types of images which are optical. Commonly optical and radar images are the two most common forms of images which we are going to get. Now, like what is meant by optical? Optical sensors can only function when we have sunlight, when we have solar energy. So these sensors function only when it is during the day, like when we have the sunlight. They can't function when they have the clouds also. But radar sensors are capable of imaging all in the day, nighttime, and nearly in all kinds of weather. Now that we have understood like what is the basic thing in this like remote sensing satellites, how does they actually work? The amount of radiation that an object reflects is the physical basis of remote sensing. For example, there's a radiation coming, so definitely that object is going to reflect. But this based on like this reflection rate depends on different objects. Like for example, object A is going to reflect some sort of light, and object B is going to reflect some amount of light, right? So special sensors collect information about this reflected energy. We have some special sensors which like collect information about this like energy, and we have processing facilities which will turn this data into a format which we can understand or use, or it's very easy to understand for us, right? So this lets us learn about the objects unique properties that we wouldn't be able to see like during normal time, because like these remote sensing satellites are going to give us information in wide range of wavelengths. Usually you can see objects only by visible light, that too like red RBG, red, blue and green. These three colors are enough for you to see the things around you. But that is not the case. But that is not the case with this remote sensing satellites. Through these satellites, we are going to get different. We are going to see things from different range of wavelengths. That is what is the difference between our eyes and this. So in this context, we'll be able to see and find different kinds of information which won't be seen or visible through the normal light. Now moving forward, what is the basic principle? As I told you, the objects and surfaces can be recognized and distinguished based on the radiant energy they are going to give, which are reflected or emitted by them. This principle underpins the remote sensing. So this is the basic principle how the remote sensing works. Like there's an incident radiation, like how much is emitted or reflected from it. Based on that, we are going to see the images. And I told you they are going to be in different wavelengths, right? So this will detect and record the radiant energy for the further study. Now, what kind of properties does that radiation study? It studies both the properties of object and also properties of the radiation, like the chemical and physical composition, kind of material, and surface roughness. And whereas with the properties of radiation, the radiant intensity, incidence angle, and wavelength. So these are the properties which the radiation is going to study, or like through the radiation, we are going to get this level of information. Understood? This is the entire process of the remote sensing. Here, first we have the sunlight, which is the main source of energy. That light is going to be reflected. Light is going to be reflected on the object which we want to study. So this radiation, this is the object of study, and this radiation is picked up by the sensor, and this sensor and this data is sent to a data processing facility. This data processing facility analyzes and interprets the information and gives it in the format which is of the practical use for us. Have you understood the working? So this is the process. This is the process of the remote sensing. Now, what might be the applications of remote sensing? we have various applications like in agriculture, to know the health of the soil, to know the what do you say, like various other information, soil health and also moisture content and all in the agriculture. Whereas in the forestry, you can talk, know where the forest fires are going to happen, or like how are happening, and also in the urban planning, to know the changes because of the climate change, like the what do you say, melting of the ice caps, melting of the polar caps. And also we can see these applications in the disaster management, right? So these are the applications you are going to have through the remote sensing satellites. In this video we have talked what remote sensing satellites are, what is the basic principle behind it, how it's working, the process, and also we have seen the applications, related to the remote sensing satellites. We'll be back again with another topic. Thank you.